Previously on Libel the Bible.
Yahweh burns Moses' nephews to death.
Moses displays no empathy toward his brother for losing his sons.
Moses leads a cleanup crew to dispose of the bodies quickly and quietly.
Yahweh goes into great detail explaining what's kosher and what's not.
I go into great detail explaining why Southerners are idiots.
More dolphin facts.
Hares and rabbits are rodents, but are hares rabbits?
I fall deeper down the alien rabbit hole.
And now, episode 26 of Libel the Bible.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Libel the Bible.
What's up, guys? This is Rusty and Scott with Libel the Bible.
Yeah, so we had some technical difficulties, so, this is on a third computer we're trying right now?
I don't know. We've been sitting here for over an hour, basically.
What the F, man?
So I'm coming in hot to the start of this.
So what are we jumping right into, the Bible or the fact that the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade?
So we're definitely going to talk about the Supreme Court, and quite serendipitously, we usually, as we've stated before, we record our episodes about 10 days before they publish. We put off recording this episode, so we're actually recording like 2 days before we publish and 2 days after the Supreme Court came down with their official decision. So there's no way we can talk about the Supreme Court decision.
So what you're basically saying through all that is this is the closest to a live performance we've ever done.
Yes, and serendipitously, it's like an important one because we are doing the Bible, right? And the reason we started talking about the Bible is because we do live in a Christian nation, and one of the things about living in a Christian nation is for the last 50 years they've been pushing and pushing and pushing to put judges onto the courts that would erode certain rights that don't jibe with Christianity, and abortion being one of them. Right?
So the three new judges on the court, would those same three judges been picked whether it was Donald Trump or a different Republican?
Yeah, Donald Trump didn't
guys?
matter. Yeah, so basically there's something called the Federalist Society. It's kind of like a think tank for right-wingers. And so they have like a list of their preferred judges, like who they would want.
Sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would have mattered.
It'd be difficult for a president to keep up on like who the latest judge is.
Right. I do have some issues though.
Oh, that's shocking.
Well, what I mean is, Scott's pouring his wine. That's a big pour.
Yeah, well,
it's quite the pour, Scott. I mean, it's been quite the week.
Yeah, it certainly has.
Scott changed his like profile pic to like black. It's just black. I did see that. Why is it black?
Because it's just a dark day in America.
Because of the Supreme Court.
It's maybe it's just we're fading to black here. Quick.
Can I be honest with you?
No. All right.
I'm in favor of a woman's right to choose whether or not she wants to give birth, or whether or not she wants to abort the birth.
It's a fucking no-brainer to me, but
it's right. It's like you said, it's a no-brainer. But that said, two things. The Supreme Court didn't take away a woman's right to have an abortion.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The Supreme Court said the Constitution of the United States does not guarantee a woman the right to have an abortion.
Correct.
Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't know that I disagree with that.
That it should be states?
I don't know that I disagree with the fact that the Constitution doesn't... I don't see where in the Constitution it gives a woman the right to have an abortion.
Right, of course.
I'm not, but that said, the Constitution doesn't deny a woman the right to have an abortion either. The Constitution is neutral on the issue of abortion. Therefore, if legislation was passed, anyone who's anti-abortion wouldn't have a constitutional leg to stand on, I don't think. You understand?
Yeah, but from the way I understand it, and correct me, you know more about this crap than, well, you know more about everything, is if it's not explicitly covered in the Constitution, right, it's supposed to fall to the states. In any, not just this topic, any topic, right?
I don't know, like, what you mean. You would have to give me examples. That's not exactly what that means. No, that's not exactly what that means.
Oh, I thought anything that wasn't specifically talked about in the Constitution would be the purview of the states, not of the federal.
Any rights not given to the federal government, the state has the right to make its own decisions. But the federal government can override that at any time, constitutionally speaking. Like, the federal government sits above the state.
Okay, that being said, listen, I don't give a fuck if the Supreme Court should have ever made a judgment on this. I don't give a fuck. It's a step backwards, and you know what the fuck are we doing, man? Yeah, now I'm in a bad mood. First the fucking computers, and now this.
But again, do you agree or disagree with me? So in other words, if you look at the letter of the Constitution, right? So they're using the 14th Amendment, and they're saying that Roe versus Wade used the 14th Amendment to justify why women should have the right to an abortion. I forgot the exact wording of that part of the Constitution, but I've looked at it, and honestly, like, I don't see what it has to do with abortion, because abortion isn't just about, like, a woman's life, right? Like, there is another life that's involved. Like, that is undeniable, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the woman who's pregnant shouldn't have the right to snuff that life out. Absolutely she should. But let's not pussyfoot around what we're talking about either, in my opinion.
That's fine.
So, when the Supreme Court, look, every single judge that voted to say that abortions are not constitutionally guaranteed, they're all pieces of shit.
Of course.
I fucking despise every single one of them on many grounds. I don't know, though, if their interpretation of the Constitution in this particular case is wrong. And what that does is it prevents people from actually talking about the real issue. The real issue being that Democrats, for fucking 40 years, have campaigned and fundraised on the specter of abortion rights being taken away. And Barack Obama, when he ran in 2007, promising the first thing he was going to do was codify the right to abortion, meaning fucking make it law. And guess what? Obama, in his first 2 years of office, when a president is the most effective, that's the president, any like substantial legislation that any president passes occurs within 100 days. Well, he had 2 years. And by the way, he had 59 Democrat senators, and he had 2 other senators like Bernie Sanders, and I forgot who the second one was. But technically, Bernie Sanders isn't a Democrat, but he caucuses with the Democrats. So Barack Obama had 61 votes in the Senate, a filibuster-proof vote. He had the majority in the House of Representatives. And by the way, he had Susan Collins, who's a Republican, and Linda Murkowski, who are both pro-choice Republican senators. Okay? So he campaigned promising that he was going to codify it. And you know what he did? As soon as he was elected, he said, well, that's not my priority. Now, look, yes, the whole fucking economy collapsed. I understand. So his priority was giving fucking our money to the fucking bankers who collapsed the economy. That was his fucking priority because he filled his fucking administration with Goldman Sachs fucking bankers. All right? So I understand what his fucking priority is. So the point being, yes, the Supreme Court justices are pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sitting here and you're not assigning blame to everyone who deserves the blame, then you're just a fucking blue MAGA. You know what I'm saying?
Blue MAGA.
A blue MAGA, right. You've got your head in the sand as much as any fucking MAGA. So, what's the first thing these fucking scumbag Democrats do now? They sing God Bless America, on the steps of the Capitol. Oh, you don't know about this?
No.
The day of the decision, as people were gathering to protest outside the Supreme Court, a group of congressional Democrats gathered on the steps of Congress and sang God Bless America.
Why?
Well, because they don't legislate, but they it's like during the Black Lives protests when they fucking kneeled in the Capitol in their fucking dashiki cloths. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all performative theater.
Nice.
It's all performative, right? So what do? They're going to scare everybody and they're going to say, well, you got to vote for us because, we're going to do something about it, even though that's what they've been saying forever now. And, again, they had their chance. When Obama was president, they had a filibuster-proof fucking
They probably will not
Senate.
have that chance again anytime soon.
No, they're going to lose the midterms because they don't fucking do anything for people. They're going to lose the midterms. We fucking came out of a pandemic, and the economy was in free fall. And Joe Biden campaigned literally on nothing will fundamentally change when I'm president. And now, by the way, he has all these things that he can do as the executive, And, by the way, he could push for ending the filibuster in the Senate, just like the Republicans did when they wanted to pass tax fucking relief, right? When they wanted to give their fucking criminal Wall Street fucking friends, tax breaks.
Oh, you didn't get a huge tax break?
No, I didn't.
Really? Yeah. Neither did I, now that you mention it.
Yeah. So, the Republicans got rid of the filibuster for that. But for this, which the Democrats are making a matter of life or death, this, we can't do anything about it. Just give us more money. Mm-hmm. So even though Nancy Pelosi literally fucking campaigned and spent tons of money on a Texas Democrat to get elected to fucking Congress, who's fucking pro-life, as they say, pro-life, that's anti-choice. Yeah. And by the way, people are like, well, Hillary Clinton, if she chose Tim Kaine to run with her, who was a fucking anti-choice Democrat. So I don't know what these fucking blue MAGAs are talking about. They should shut the fuck up because the blame is on them as much as it is on the fucking Republicans. I don't want to hear shit from them, all right? So there's plenty of fucking blame to go around on all fucking sides. And if you're only assigning blame to Susan Sarandon, which I'm seeing all over fucking Twitter, everyone's like, thanks a lot, Susan Sarandon, because she voted for Jill Stein. You know what I mean? If that's what you think, you're a fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. And you have shown yourself not to be a serious individual. And if you're in the South, by the way,
Oh boy.
all right, and you voted for these fucking Republican pieces of shit who fucking put these judges on the bench, then you can go fuck yourself too. That's how I feel about the fucking Supreme Court ruling. Everyone is to fucking blame, and everyone is out of their fucking minds except Susan Sarandon. All right? She's a fucking national treasure, and I will fucking go to my grave defending Susan Sarandon's right to vote for anyone she fucking wants to vote for without blaming her for the collapse of fucking our democracy. It ain't Susan Sarandon's fucking fault.
Wow. You want to take a break?
I told you, man, I'm coming in hot today.
I don't know what to say. What am I going to say that's going to follow that up? So, catch us next week on libelthebible.com. Yeah. What a fucking, what do you call it? Idiocracy?
It's an idiocracy. We live in a complete idiocracy, and it's turning into a Christo-fascist state.
Awesome.
So we've got that to look forward to.
Burn it all down. Burn it all down. I like now, people are just going to start calling on cab drivers and doctors and neighbors and everything. Like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Well, I'm sorry. What'd you say? I didn't understand what you were saying.
Even mention abortion. Like, there's hotlines you can call. Like, fucking, like, report your suspicions of like someone being like, someone might be talking about abortion.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's the case yet. So that's another thing. People like stirring up, like, you know what I mean? Like all this like panic. I mean,
so and I believe Judge Thomas went on to say that they should probably revisit a lot of these fucking things, decisions that were made in the past.
Yep,
that's great.
So again, I don't necessarily know that I disagree.
No, I got you.
With the rulings, with his like position, insofar as like the Constitution doesn't state it explicitly. So he's not even saying like, I don't even know, like maybe he might be in favor of abortion. He's just saying make that shit a law. Let Congress pass a law saying like federal abortions are legal. And then states can't do anything about that. If the federal government makes something legal, a state can't make it illegal. That's it.
Okay, right. Because the other way around, some states made marijuana legal, but it was still
it's
illegal
still federally illegal,
yeah.
And the state can choose whether or not they want to like enforce it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You don't know? You have no opinion. Come on, man. You got to have an opinion.
Oh, man. You just shot Marvin in the face. Oh, Marvin dies a lot of deaths on this show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great movie. Great scene.
Yeah, dude, man. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You made your avatar black, so you got to know something. Yeah. Are you afraid to express an opinion?
No. It's like you ever just been like?
There's got to be parts where you disagree with me.
No, not really. No,
really, because what I'm saying is quite controversial. Apparently,
no. What's
like if I said this on the internet, I'd be fucking attacked.
This is going to be on the internet, man. It's going to be like 4 days. It'll be on the internet. What are you talking about?
Oh, shit.
You want to start this over?
Damn. Nah, fuck it.
Let's roll. Get canceled, right? Yeah. No. What you're saying makes all the sense in the world. As far as the rules and the legislative rules and all that, no, I believe it's probably right. It probably should never have gone to the Supreme Court. That being said, I'm still fucking angry about it. Yeah. Because when you say, let the states decide. Oh, you mean the states that have been gerrymandered the fuck out of?
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, how is like 70% of the country like pro-choice and you're going to leave it to the states? And states have trigger laws that already went into effect.
Right.
Like, come on, man. The people are not, the governments of the states are not doing the will of the people in their states.
No.
So stop with the gerrymandering and all that bullshit.
Right.
And fucking maybe I would be less upset.
Right. And by the way, they're using identity again to like drum up like donations and fear. So like the refrain that you hear now is like, this will affect like poor black women. And it's like, yes, it will affect poor black women to a certain extent, but it will also affect poor white women. It'll just affect poor women.
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't need to bring identity into this. Let's talk economics. And by the way, I'm going to say this. The vast majority of poor black women in this country are going to be just fine because they're living in states that are going to allow abortions, right? So they're living in Illinois, New York, California, right? They're living in big cities. You know, Florida might be fucked, but fuck Florida. You know what I mean?
The rain, that whole state's.
So I'm also not liking that either from like the liberal intelligentsia, like the whole like, well, the black women, and it's like, let's talk about it economically across an economic spectrum. This is part of the thing that's dividing the country. We're not talking about economics, we're talking about identity. And so it becomes, you know what I mean? It becomes like poor black women or Mexicans or Latinx, which they don't want to be fucking called. You know what I mean? Like 97% of Latinos not only don't want to be called Latinx, they resent being called Latinx. But you know who does it? Like the suburban wine moms.
Duh.
The ones who are like all fucking, oh, Kamala, go queen. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck the fuck off with that bullshit. Yeah. We need to not only eat the rich, we need to burn the fucking suburbs down. All right? That's what I'm talking about.
I was hoping to one day retire to the suburbs.
Nah, fuck that shit.
No, I think I'm going to probably retire, like, probably in the South.
So, I mean, this country, man, we've got so many goddamn problems. And you know what one of them is? The Bible. The Bible and Christianity.
Oh, okay. So I was on the interwebs, on some Reddit, or you know how it is. You get drawn down a rabbit hole of like two strangers having a conversation.
Sure, I love it.
Yeah,
I've almost stopped reading articles exclusively and just read the comments of people like arguing in the comments. And you know what's great, by the way? I'm sorry, I'm going to let you continue, but since you mentioned comments,
thanks Kanye,
especially on Reddit. That's funny, Scott. You're like my Taylor Swift. So, what's great on Reddit is no matter what the topic is, right? There's always like that one person who's like a fucking expert on it. And that person goes on to tell you why the article is like wrong. Like it'll be some like heavy duty, like fucking quantum mechanics, like fucking paper that's just been published that says that they just found like a time loop, and there's always one fucking fat slob neck-bearded like Redditor who's like, well, actually, let me explain to you. Get the fuck out of here.
In the words of Kamala Harris, and that person is you. She said that girl is me. You know.
For all our listeners, I'm not smiling right now. I'm looking at Scott. Disdainfully.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell I was going to talk about.
So you were talking about you were on the interwebs on one of those sites.
Yeah, and they were talking about the Bible. And they were talking about when the mob showed up to Lot, and he was like, here, take my daughters. And they people were just abusing the Bible for that. And then one guy sounded well-educated, very well-written form. Punctuation was in all the right spots.
Yeah.
He said, what you don't understand, because you're not a person who believes in the Bible, you're always looking for the bad things. Mm-hmm. He was like, that was a lesson to be learned. Mm-hmm. That was a story that you do not argue with mobs. You do not compromise with mobs. You say no to mob mentality.
Well, I don't understand.
Right. I was
because
like,
he was literally throwing his daughters to the mob.
Right. And
he was trying to satiate the mob. So that's compromising with the mob.
Right, but he's saying that was the wrong thing to do. It was just a lesson to be learned.
Uh-huh.
Not that He was throwing his daughters to the mob. Like any form of negotiation with the mob would have been wrong.
Oh, so the story is that Lot's a piece of shit. Basically, he's saying the Bible is showing us that Lot was an asshole.
Correct.
Right.
But not because of like giving up his daughter. It's just any type of compromise with a mob mentality was wrong.
Okay.
And I was like, well, this guy must have done a lot of research to pull that out of there because I didn't see any of that.
Well, I got to tell you, when we're covering Leviticus 15 through 18 today, and in Leviticus 18, it kind of does call back.
Yeah, let's not jump ahead.
To like, the deviant behaviors
Which is
of
probably
all
where
these
I meant to like throw that
I'm
tidbit
sorry,
in.
I wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's all right.
Go ahead.
So I think maybe I should have waited to throw that tidbit in. But you went on such a long ramble. I thought we were at that part of the show already. I thought we must be on Leviticus 18 by now.
No. You're just not used to allowing me to talk, so that's what it was.
Whatever, man. You realize someone's going to go back through this footage, like archivists and historians one day, and they're going to see how many times you've interrupted me and I didn't complain about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But, all right. So that brings us to the subject you've been waiting for, Leviticus. What is this?
15.
15. Concerning bodily discharges.
Nice. Do you know that I don't have I didn't take any notes for the bodily discharge.
That's fine. I'll go through it.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Okay. They start talking about a man and if he has any discharge from his member.
Yeah.
See, and then they try and put it when you click on the definition.
Skin.
Hebrew meant flesh or skin.
Yeah. Nah, they mean
but they've said flesh and skin in multiple places in the Bible already.
I know.
Someone was trying to cover that up.
This is his penis. They're talking about a man's penis.
Because they start talking about if you have a discharge coming from your penis, you're ceremonially unclean. So at first I was like, what the hell does he mean by that? But then I realized you can't go into the tent and do anything ceremonially because you're bringing your scuzz into the clean room.
Okay.
So that's that. And then if anything's stopping you from discharging, you're also unclean.
If anything's stopping you, what could stop you?
I don't know.
Wouldn't
a tumor, maybe?
A tumor. Okay.
Whatever you shoved up there,
shoved up where?
When you were in Sodom? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anything that somebody else might have shoved up there? I don't know. Every bed, everything you sat on, and any people who touched you must be bathed, and they will be unclean until evening. Again, with the fucking
evening, right?
Yeah. So,
what happens in the evening?
I'm telling you, just get nasty around 5:30 in the afternoon. Do whatever the fuck
you
you want.
can't see the pus.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Out of sight, out of mind. Maybe that's where that saying comes from. Oh shit, revelation.
Out of sight, out of mind. I think you might get a revelation.
That's
out of
right.
that. Yeah. Evening, because there's no fucking lights back then. Revelation. I'm gonna put my fucking note in here.
Scott's writing it. Revelation.
We've been low on revelations lately.
Have we?
Did you see the fucking all those quotes that came in on about our last episode?
I did. Wow, we were filled with quotes.
It's nice to get that kind of
Yeah.
fuckers. Yeah. So, and anybody who's discharging, if they spit on somebody, they're unclean. Those people are unclean until they bathe and until evening.
The person that gets spit on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
So wait. If you get spit on by someone who's not discharging, that's okay?
They're clean.
They're clean. All right.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're spitting on me, no, it's not okay. Unless I'm into that kind of thing.
Do you think if you're not discharging and you get spit on, it's like King of New York when David Caruso spits at what the hell is his name?
I don't remember that scene.
They were bailing people out of jail.
Yeah.
They got the attorney got the who the hell was the star of that show? It was Christopher Walken, but it was it was when who was the guy that was played by
the guy from Boys in the Hood, man.
Yeah, what the hell's his name?
I'm blanking on it.
Holy shit, he was he was the father in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
The fuck, I can't. Whatever.
He was also in The Matrix.
Yeah, he goes and spits on him, And then one guy's like, "Give me some." they
Gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. But that was a long, nothing to do about that. But all right,
I remember that they were like in the car. They were like outside their car getting drunk, right? As they were like walking out of the building.
They were coming out of the building. And
It's not that important. Let's move on. Yeah,
move
fuck
on.
that shit.
Yeah. Spitting on people's okay as long as you don't have
Lawrence
VD.
Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. Thank you. All right. If you touch, if someone who is discharging touches you and they haven't washed their hands, they've made other people unclean.
Other people?
Yeah.
Not the person that they're touching?
No. I'm saying, listen, if I'm discharging
Yeah.
and I didn't wash my hands and I touch you,
Yeah.
I just made you unclean.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Really? Again, why did Fauci not bring this shit up? Why is this Bible verse not in the fucking bathroom instead of employees must wash hands?
I don't think
Put
Fauci-
fucking Leviticus Bible fucking
I
words.
don't think Fauci is a God-fearing man. He's probably not familiar with the Bible.
I understand that, but he should have some associates.
Like, know thy enemy, right?
Like Kyle. What the fuck is Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
Should be like the theologian and with the scientists. Like
All right. Let's see what we got this week.
he'd be like his Jodie Foster.
Right, he's like the Einstein of Southerners.
Yes. So any earthen vessels you touch have to be destroyed if you're sick. But wood vessels are okay. You just got to rinse them. I would think earthen would be less susceptible to
An earthen vessel?
like a bowl or a container.
Okay.
Why would wood be just rinsed off, but earthen?
I don't know.
Who cares? Oh wait, I missed something. Oh, then we're going to
The semen. You missed the semen. Because that discharge could have been just pus, right? But then there's a whole set of things for semen discharge, isn't there? And women's discharge.
Yeah,
Like her
semen emission. Here you go. Yeah, it says. Once you're clean, you got to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons to the priest, who will make atonement for your discharge.
Right.
And, so once again, what is this, barbecue? Discharge barbecue.
So you know what I was thinking? It's pretty funny because think about how much pressure the priests are under to perform their ritual precisely. Because if they don't, God will burn them. So you have to perform a very extremely precise ritual. So you would think rituals are meant for important things. Maybe we don't want to wander the desert for 40 years. Can we find a home? Can we find a land to live in? Can our children be healthy, right? Now, these priests gotta fucking clean up your fucking stinky gonorrhea and fucking, all your venereal diseases.
I gotta think that they're specifically talking about venereal disease.
It seems
STIs.
like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah.
remember,
Yeah. What else would be dripping out of your cock?
Yeah. So, you got to do an offering. So now, anytime you have a semen emission, you have to clean up after yourself, basically, it says. And clean everything it touches.
Right.
He comes in with a black light, says, what the fuck?
And you're unclean for a certain amount of hours, right?
Only until the evening, I think.
Until the evening. What if you drop a load in the evening?
Yeah, you can't really clean it till sunup because you don't know where it went, right?
I don't know. These rules are crazy. They're assuming everything takes place in the day.
Yeah. And I like this. And in the cases where a semen emission involves a woman, so all right, so they're freely talking about masturbation here.
Okay.
She has to clean herself too.
We're not there yet, though.
You're right.
We're not there yet.
Right. And then
or an animal.
we're not there yet.
Okay.
And then now so now when a woman bleeds during her regular menstrual cycle, and they call it a period in the Bible. I would have thought that was a modern term. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
the translation. Yeah.
All right. Here's what I don't like about it. They're impure for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of harsh.
Well, because
a normal bodily function, you're impure.
look, the only reason everyone knows, especially every Southerner who reads the Bible knows, they could tell you, the only purpose of women is really to be breeding mares, right? That's why the Supreme Court made the decision that they made. These fucking broads should shut the fuck up and just be pregnant. So when these fucking bitches have the nerve to shed their fucking uteral lining once a month for 7 days, they're not pure. They're not women at that point because they can't serve their purpose of taking my seed and making a baby for me.
Yeah. And if the blood touches, if a man touches a woman, he's impure also for the same period.
Right.
And then on the 8th day, after you went through that, now you're gonna go make atonement. You gotta go bring some shit over to the priest.
You have to save up your seed. You can't just be like wasting your seed in a woman while she's menstruating. So you got to save that seed up and blast the whole load when she's ovulating.
Let me ask you this then. Do you think that dude that kept pulling out didn't pull out when she was on her period? Because he knew, like... Do you think they knew they couldn't get pregnant then?
I don't think it was... Well, the thing was, I think he just pulled out that one time, and God was like, fuck you, and killed him. So, like, he didn't even have a chance to, like...
Wow.
I don't think God gives you multiple chances. I think God's quick on the trigger.
That ain't right, man. Guy had some misgivings, he had some shit to work out in his head.
It was his brother's, like his dead brother's wife, right?
Yeah.
That whole situation was fucked. He was being forced by his dad to get, like, his brother's widow pregnant.
Yeah.
He's the hero, if anything.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, later on in Leviticus, God is very specific about who you're allowed to have sex with, right?
Yeah. Let's first do this so we can get to that stuff. All right. So you got to keep people away from the discharging women.
Yeah.
You have to keep them away. Okay. That brings us to Leviticus 16, the Day of Atonement.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh says to Aaron, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, Aaron, man, you can't just come into the sanctuary any old time.
So let me read this. So Leviticus 16, the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, when they drew near before the Lord and died. The Lord said to Moses, tell your brother Aaron not to come just at any time into the sanctuary inside the curtain before the cover that is upon the ark, or he will die, for I appear in the cloud upon the cover.
Yeah, it's an exhaust or some sort of thing that kills people.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they fucked up the ritual because I think he goes into this like because after he goes, don't come into any old time because you're gonna die, and then he gets specific again and put on the holy clothes, put on the linens, put on the anointing oil. Like he's basically, it's after an on-the-job death or an accident. Like everybody's got to sit in on the safety meeting. It's another fucking safety meeting.
You think it's like one of those situations where they left the engine running in a small garage and they were just like hanging out in a car and like they just died of carbon monoxide poisoning?
Like well, no, they were specific. They got burned up.
Right.
So, yeah. So another safety meeting.
Well, what can you do? Like, what should Aaron do to atone to God for the fact that God burned his 2 sons?
What Aaron should fucking actually do is go, why? I didn't ask for this job. Why the fuck do I got to do this?
Well, but God tells him. Do you know what he tells him? Did you write that down?
I don't think I did.
I'm going to read it for you. Mm-hmm. So, Aaron apparently is responsible for his sons fucking up.
He was kind of playing the blame game there. Like
he was playing the blame game? Oh, you mean he was in mourning over the death of his sons?
No. God was blaming Aaron.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. So, here's what God says. In Leviticus 16, verse 7, this is what he tells Moses. He shall take the 2 goats and set them before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and Aaron shall cast lots on the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for Azazel.
Ooh.
I don't even know who Azazel is.
I looked it up.
All right. Has that name come up before?
Nope. This is a new player in town.
All right. I love how the Bible just like drops like names like we're supposed to know. All right.
You think Aaron was like,
Yeah.
what?
He's like, what? Aaron shall present the goat on which the lot fell for the Lord and offer it as a purification offering. But the goat on which the lot fell for Azazel shall be presented alive before the Lord to make atonement over it, that it may be sent away into the wilderness to Azazel. This is a scapegoat.
Yes, I love that.
That's
That'll be on
the
the Revelations.
scapegoat.
Yeah. So, okay, so now I looked at it. I Googled
Who's
Azazel.
Azazel?
Yo, man.
Is that Beelzebub?
Yo, he's like a demon.
Yeah.
He's a fucking demon. And they mention that it comes from the Book of Enoch that you had mentioned. That we're gonna,
sweet. All right.
So they are drawing from this other
All right,
mythology.
all right.
So, a demon? The fuck?
Yeah.
Are demons as powerful as gods?
Does a demon walk the earth?
He hangs out in this wilderness, apparently, this guy Azazel.
Are there rules for Azazel? Like, how come can he like go into camp?
I don't know.
Does God keep him, or Yahweh? Does Yahweh keep him at bay? Is this like another alien race, or is this like a friend of Yahweh and they have like a dispute? You know, is Yahweh like Kirk and this is like his Khan?
Oh. Huh. Is Azazel really that bad, or Bob's just talking to God?
That's
just
another
shit about
thing,
it, you know?
right? Like maybe Azazel is trying to get like the word out to these people.
And Azazel can never get anything right because these fucking scapegoats keep showing up, burdening them with their fucking sins and their dirtiness. The fuck? Azazel's like, you sent one more fucking goat into this wilderness. Or it's just an urban legend story God makes up to keep them from the wilderness at night.
Yeah.
Because that's when Azazel is going to get you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going through it logically, using your logic about God being an alien, Azazel must be another alien, right?
Interesting.
Gotta
I
be.
guess.
Gotta be.
I guess. Well, he's a demon. I hope they go into this in more
Well, who
detail.
says he's a demon?
There's that guy on the internet I read about.
But but on the internet, it doesn't say God's an alien. It says he's God.
Oh, yeah.
Yahweh. I keep saying God.
The internet now says he's an alien because we're on the internet.
Right. We're going to have to change that wiki fucking entry for Yahweh. And we're going to use the Bible as fucking evidence
Sure.
to support
I'm working on the
our
screenplay.
argument. Are you?
No.
No. I wish you would.
All right, so Aaron, he gets specific again with Aaron. With this ritual, he has to do everything right or he will die.
Yeah, so remember, this is the Day of Atonement. He's atoning for the fact that his 2 sons fucked up.
Yeah.
So he's got to atone for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's his fault.
Yeah. Well, it's not his fault. It was his son's fault.
Yeah.
But he's the next in line. You know,
But no, didn't they get those other 2? His other 2 sons were, like, recruited into the priesthood.
No, they were just getting rid of the bodies.
No, and they were fucking recruited into the priesthood. They're priests now.
Oh. I think they were always priests. I think all his sons priests.
No.
Oh, that's right. Because we talked about like that. They don't want this fucking job.
Yeah. That's no.
So they mention that he used to doff his clothes in the tent where he wore them. So basically, all the biosuits he had to have on for the ritual, he was told take it off in the tent and leave it there. Yeah, because you don't want to fucking contaminate.
Right.
It's more evidence that this is a fucking clean room.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's it for 16, right?
Yeah, that gets us to the slaughtering of animals. Leviticus 17.
Yeah.
You got something to say about the slaughtering of
I
animals?
really don't put a fucking single note for it. It's just in detail about how you got to spray the blood around. You got to make a big fucking deal of it. If Oh, I was wondering. He did say, if you slaughter an animal and don't bring it to the tabernacle, you're going to be separated from your people.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So every time you eat, you have to bring something to God? I didn't understand that. Because he doesn't, I don't think he takes the animal.
There's so much I don't understand, Scott. Is slaughter specifically referring to just any animal you kill? Or is it like a ritualistic slaughter? You know what I mean? So like, is slaughter a word specifically used for like a ritual, whereas another kind of killing of an animal is just for you and your family? You don't have to bring that to the tabernacle.
All right, so you can't be like doing your own rituals and.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Unless
anyone knows, call in.
Yeah, like if slaughter, is a specific word for a specific reason. I don't know.
He writes specifically, if anyone from the house of Israel slaughters an ox or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or slaughters it outside the camp.
No, it sounds like...
Okay. Why make that distinction? Whether you slaughtered inside the camp or outside the camp. There's only two possibilities. You're either in the camp or out of the camp. Why would you have to waste a sentence?
Fuck that. I'm getting in the plane. Seems to be less windy in there.
Yeah. You'll have to. You'll be guilty of bloodshed, and you will be cut off from your people, which I assume is death. I don't know.
You will be guilty of bloodshed. That's ironic, considering you've got to spread blood on everything.
Yeah,
on doorways, on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, and you got to turn the fat into a smoke as a pleasing odor to the Lord.
Pleasing odor.
Do you think he just that's a good odor right there.
He's like Homer Simpson.
But now let's go back to Azazel. The priest shall dash the blood against the altar of the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and turn the fat into smoke as a pleasing odor to the Lord, so that they may no longer offer their sacrifices for goat demons, to whom they prostitute themselves.
You think that's where the whole Satan having the fucking goat legs and the horns comes from? The goat demon?
Oh, maybe. But what fucking
I mean?
goat demons?
What?
Do you think everybody looked around and said, were you worshiping a goat demon? I wasn't, did you? I wasn't. Who the fuck was worshiping goat demons?
Well, they're not supposed to be worshiping anyone except Yahweh.
I get it, but he's very specific. Somebody was worshiping goat demons.
I mean, they must have been worshiping goat demons.
You know what? Maybe these people needed God. All right.
Let's get to Leviticus 18.
What about eating the blood prohibited?
All right,
we've covered that already, though, right? They covered that previously.
Sure, but he always likes to repeat, you can't eat any blood. You can't eat blood. You can't eat blood. I even looked up, by the way, why can't you... why is it constantly repeated? Were people eating, so much blood? And, by the way, there was an episode where you mentioned, why is it eating blood? Wouldn't you drink blood? What is eating blood?
It's all dried out and gross. Yeah.
Unless would it be able to congeal, into, a gelatin? A gelatinous, yeah? I guess you would be able to eat it then, right? But, was that a delicacy, eating blood?
No, I think it's what you said many episodes ago. You meant, cook your food, man. Drain the blood out. Don't fucking have, a rare, super rare raw steak.
Isn't there, an Irish, what's it called? Blood pie? Is that Irish? Blood pie?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Really?
I think
you're in fucking Irish pubs every weekend. You've never ordered or seen blood pie?
I was in Ireland once and I had it, and I don't remember.
You don't remember what it was?
I don't remember.
I would have remembered. If I had something called blood pie, I would remember.
It sounds very Klingon. Today is a good day to pie.
It's Romulan heart.
Yeah. So that's it.
Can we get the sexual relations?
I'm trying to stall you for a reason because you're getting Oh no! What's the sexual relations? What happened to the Day of Atonement? I mean, what's the 7-month, 10-day thing that you deny yourselves?
What?
He talks about...
I don't know. Leviticus 17 was the slaughtering of animals. And then that gets us to Leviticus 18, sexual relations.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about sex.
All right. So he gets very specific.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed in some of this, but we'll get to it.
Right. So immediately he says, you can't have sex with relatives. And like he lists like
no,
every relative.
He goes, you shall not do as the people did in Egypt.
Right.
And you shall not do what the people in Canaan are doing. Because we're going to drive them out. Because you don't do what they do.
Yeah, so he's very specific. So Yahweh starts off with like calling back all the previous places that the Israelites had occupied. Yeah. He's like, you remember like all those places that you've lived in before, like Canaan and
Not
fucking
Canaan
what?
Not Canaan yet. They're on their way to Canaan, no?
But they had lived in Canaan in the past. Abraham was.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he's like, all those previous places that you come from, Canaan, Egypt, like, forget that shit, man. It's kind of like the Supreme Court decision. Remember, like, all those freedoms that you had in the past? Remember that, like, that anal sex that you like? Remember, like, how you like fucking your sister? No more. Can't do that anymore.
So this must have been running rampant because they really get, like, they mention every, like 3 directions from you on your family tree you can't go near.
I think now that I think about it, now I'm starting to understand why this book is so important for like Southerners to read. Because like the section telling them like you can't have sex with your mommy or daddy or sister or brother or aunt or uncle, they need that reinforced.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like they have a lot of incest in the South.
I like they don't mention really sex. They call it uncover the nakedness of. They say nakedness like 14 times.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hot.
It's hot. Yeah. We should have read this together.
What about
naked?
Oh, you think that guy's still around?
I don't know. No inside jokes. Nobody gets inside jokes.
I like the fact that you should not you shall not take a woman as a rival to her sister.
Yeah, there's you know what? Let me so
while her sister's still alive, it's like once she's dead, you can fuck her sister.
So what if you kill her? Oh no, you can't kill her. That's one of the commandments. Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
So all right. So Leviticus 18 verse 19. Speaking of nakedness, you shall not approach a woman. Oh, okay. You know what? That's not like. That's something different. We're not talking about like incest. Are you still want to talk about incest, or you want to move on?
I didn't know I wanted to talk about incest at all. But it is really funny that it has to be like commanded like this way.
It's the first thing.
Okay, wait. Let's just do a thought experiment real quick. Let's say we throw out all the norms. Like we're not in a society yet. We're 6,000 years ago. Why would we think we couldn't fuck our sister?
Why would we think we couldn't?
Or mother? Like why? Like why would we? Not that I'm looking to do any of these things. I'm just saying, like, why wouldn't you think that's okay?
I would say that very, very early on, it was probably discovered that like people who have children with their close relatives have fucked up children.
Okay.
And so it was just known from very, very early on.
Fair enough.
It was just known.
All right. So you get into verse 19?
So think about it. Yeah. So you said like 6,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But we've been around as a species anywhere from 150 to 200,000 years. So 6,000 years ago still leaves 194,000 years
of empirical evidence of what happens when you
Yes.
sleep.
Right, you understand?
God should have came down earlier then to stop that
Not
shit.
for nothing, but it's stupid that Yahweh even had to tell these fucking idiots about this. They should have fucking known. Like, don't fuck your sister. You know what I mean? Like,
don't get your dad drunk and fuck him either.
That's why they were having discharge from their penises all the time.
All the time? Enough that they had to speak about it, right?
All right. So Leviticus 18, verse 19. In addition to incest, God says, "You shall not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness while she is in her menstrual uncleanliness. You shall not have sexual relations with your neighbor's wife and defile yourself with her. You shall not give any of your offspring to sacrifice them to Moloch and to profane the name of your God. I am the Lord." So,
fuck, I didn't write that down. Who the fuck is Moloch?
I don't know who Moloch is. He sounds like another like one of these. Maybe he's like one of those goat demons. And apparently Israelites are killing their children and sacrificing them to Moloch. Apparently that's like a thing.
I gotta look into these. These stories seem even more interesting than what we're reading.
All right. Now, verse 22.
This depressed me.
This is the big one. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. You shall not have sexual relations with any animal and defile yourself with it, nor shall any woman give herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. It is perversion. All right, which part upset you? The one with the animals?
No, I'm down with that.
Right.
I mean, I'm down with what it says.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, I'm totally down with the animals.
All right, so you don't like the part where it says you
shall not lie with a male as with a woman is an
with a woman.
abomination.
So,
I actually hoped we were going to go through the entire Bible and not find a single reference to homosexuality.
Right.
I was hoping that was just some shit that people added in that wasn't really there. So I can say, where? Show me where in the fucking Bible it says that.
Right.
And it does.
It
and
says it right here.
Yeah, it sucks. I was hoping not to see it.
But maybe it gets contradicted at some point.
Maybe. And you know what? Dude.
By the way, this part says a lot of fucking crazy shit. It also says, like, you put someone to death for, like, working on a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what are we picking and choosing? Like, what's right and what's not?
You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I've never engaged in...
Lawyer it.
I've never engaged in homosexual sex myself, but it's obviously different than having sex with a woman because your partner doesn't have a vagina.
Right.
So technically, I cannot lay with another man as I would with a woman.
Right.
So, loophole.
Well, also, if you're like a serial killer who likes to kill and strangle their female victim and then fuck them through the hole in their neck that you slit, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's say a guy can't get off unless he strangles the life out of a woman while looking in her eyes and sees the tears coming down her eyes as she struggles for her last breath. And that's what gets him erect. And then what really gets him off is when he takes a big knife and slices her throat and sticks his penis in there. I'm just saying there has to be people like that.
All right. Okay.
So...
Can we change the arrangements in this room? I'd like to be closer to the exit door. Like, I don't want to have to go through you to get out of here.
Nah, I hear what you're saying, man.
Yeah, it just sucks. So, but I'm thinking that there's the loophole.
The loophole. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
If I was only to have anal intercourse with a woman, that's all I would do. And then I did that with a man. Oh, okay, all right, you got me on that. But I don't do that.
Right.
So,
It doesn't say what the punishment, though, is, you know? Like, usually God's always like, if you do this, I'll punish you.
You know what? You know what? This pisses me... I think that pisses me off even more because it's an abomination. Which might be the first fucking time this word's been used in the Bible. It's an abomination. It's almost like, you know what? It's so fucked up, I'm not even going to punish you for that shit. Like, you're just an abomination. Like, I'm like there's no punishment, like, strong enough for what you're doing.
Yeah. An abomination is something like ugly and unnatural, right? Like that's like the definition of abomination. All right. He goes on in verse 24, Leviticus 18, verse 24. He says, "Do not defile yourselves in any of these ways, for by all these practices the nations I am casting out before you have defiled themselves. Thus the land became defiled, and I punished it for its iniquity, and the land vomited out its inhabitants." So he's saying, remember all those like firstborn Egyptians that I killed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were gay, or like they were banging their sister, or they were doing like all of these creepy things that I've told you not to do. That's why I killed them all.
I like this. This makes it even worse, man. Your fucking ways, your sex ways, were so gross the land vomited you up. The land puked.
Yeah.
That's how much of an abomination you are.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to say this. Obviously, since he mentions it, it had to be going on. We know Sodom and Gomorrah. We think it was all crazy. But in Egypt, it was going on. In Canaan, it was going on. It sounds like homosexual sex has been going on forever.
Yeah.
And in large enough quantities where it had to be mentioned.
Yeah.
So 194,000 years of this, and now it's an abomination?
Right.
Man.
Well, what's fucked up is, I don't know. Like, what would Yahweh's rationale be? Well, first of all, let's look at it from a rational point of view. Yahweh didn't give these instructions to anyone because it's a made-up story. But someone wrote this made-up story. Why would the people who wrote this made-up story give a fuck about that?
It's even today.
Like,
why do people
what is
give a
the
fuck?
taboo? Again, imploring people not to fuck their sisters, understandable, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like a thing of nature. Like the offspring come out all fucked up. What do they care, like, if guys are buggering each other?
Buggering?
Yeah.
Are you English?
Yeah, I like it. I like the term buggering.
Buggering. Mm.
Sodomizing, whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, that is a term
I don't know.
that is a ridiculous term to use, because sodomizing could mean either oral sex or anal sex, and those are two extremely different things.
Then when you do the little ATM combination like this,
Let's ask any of our like girlfriends from the time we were like 19 if like oral sex is different from anal sex. It won't be a it'll be an emphatic like, yes, they're different.
All right, no, keep going. Keep talking about anal sex.
No, I'm telling you, we should have read this together.
So 194,000 years
in
of
bed.
Yeah.
With wine.
Now you're getting weird, man.
Oh, damn. Why? Why is that weird, Scott?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I never
It's
understood.
only
the whole...
weird if you make it weird.
Yeah,
It's only weird if we do it with a woman next to us who's dead from strangulation and a hole in her neck. That would be weird. Because that should be done in private.
Yeah. When you come into the land and plant all kinds of trees for food, then you shall regard their fruit as forbidden. What? 3 years it shall be forbidden to you. It must not be eaten.
What's this?
Did I fuck? Oh, shit, dude. I totally, turned the page here accidentally.
I don't know what you're reading.
Oh, God. There's more stupidity next week, apparently. That was 19. I jumped over. All right. So,
I've got more to read.
Keep going, because I'm just brain farting
right.
here.
So, God continues, "But you shall keep my statutes and my ordinances and commit none of these abominations, either the native born or the alien who resides among you. For the inhabitants of the land who were before you committed all of these abominations, and the land became defiled. Otherwise, the land will vomit you out for defiling it, as it vomited out the nation that was before you. For whoever commits any of these abominations shall be cut off from their people. So keep my charge not to commit any of these abominations that were done before you, and not to defile yourselves by them. I am the Lord your God. So I guess there is a punishment. The punishment isn't God like killing you or whatever. The punishment is you will be an outcast, like for
we had this discussion
a
a couple of weeks ago that it was unclear. It said you're going to be cut off from your people,
Yeah.
and then there was a follow up like you'd also be killed. So it may be killed. We don't know.
But that
yet.
was for something else.
Yeah. Well.
Here he's just saying like you'll be an outcast. And by the way,
We never answered your question though.
which was
You asked like, what was the purpose of the writer like writing these rules? And I take offense to that because this is a true story. This happened.
well, let's
So I'm
say
gonna-
hypothetically
I'm
speaking.
gonna say we can talk about the writer, but I'm gonna talk about Yahweh. Why? What would his motivation be to pass these rules about gay sex?
Sure.
He's a homophobe
Why?
because he's gay
He's gay.
and he hasn't come to terms with it yet.
But you would think someone from an advanced civilization that's able to traverse, solar systems and star systems.
You know who his father is?
I guess the star system is a solar system.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
His father is like fucking the jock in the Breakfast Club. That's his father. You got to be strong.
Right.
You can't be weak. Like he can never go to his father and come out.
Right.
So he has to be like, oh yeah, I hate gays too. No, that's an abomination.
Maybe that's why he fled his planet and came here.
What is God's
Yahweh?
take on? I'm sorry, Yahweh's take on sex for pleasure. Is it only supposed to be for childbirth at this point? He doesn't really mention that, right?
He hasn't mentioned it.
So I don't understand like why no animal sex. I get it. That's cool. But I don't know. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's no rationale for it, right?
Didn't they try and say back in the day, like when you saw the Christian, like when the AIDS outbreak started, there was all the religious people saying this is your comeuppance.
It's God's punishment.
It's God's punishment.
Sure. Well, I don't know if all the Christians, but like the crazy ones.
Yeah, all of them.
In the South, for sure.
Again, why
Not
did
up north.
why did God wait like 215,000 years for this punishment? Okay. We're just gonna let it go on a little longer.
Scott, you don't know God's plan. God has a plan, and 100,000 years is like a second for God.
Oh, so then again, getting back to Genesis, maybe those days weren't days. They were God
They
days.
were eons.
Fucking eons.
Eons.
Yeah. All right, so we got to look up Moloch as a Zell. This is good stuff, man. And I want to know why we're just like casually like glossing over them. Like you're not going to go into detail about these guys.
That's not what you're casually glossing over. You know, you're casually glossing over a word that's right there on the page, and it's not the first time that word's been on the page.
I closed my stuff, so
The word is alien.
Oh no.
You know how many times we've read the word alien, and we just assumed alien was someone from another country?
Well, I think it is.
It might be literal alien.
But didn't he refer to the Israelites as aliens in Egypt? I don't even know now. Let's pretend. You know what? Let's forget we read that part. Fuck it. Let's interpret
go
it however
full
fuck we
out,
feel
right.
like interpreting it.
I mean, why not?
You know, in a well-regulated. Just leave those parts out, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking leave them out, man. Yeah, I got nothing else. I don't think, man.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the establishment of a democracy, something like that.
Listen, you know,
A well-regulated
you know
militia
more. You know
being
more of the words than 99% of people that are like spewing nonsense about it. So, and I honestly think what was this, the third book? Exodus. Yeah, it's the third book. And I already feel I read 90% more of the Bible than anybody who claims that they're God-fearing.
Yeah. Especially in the South.
I got nothing else, man. I'm down for wrapping
You're
this
tapped
up.
out?
I'm tapped out, man. This is just. You know what it is? I think I don't know if anybody's heard episode 25. I thought that was some good work right there. I think this is kind of like...
Well, people have heard episode 25. There's like statistics on it.
Oh, okay, good.
People have listened to episode 25.
Because science says so.
What do you mean? I'm looking. I can pull it up right now in our analytics.
Oh, yeah.
This is episode 26.
Who does those analytics? Yeah, exactly. People in your fucking payroll.
Okay.
Ain't nobody listening to this shit, man.
So are we signing off right now?
I mean, do you have anything else to talk
abruptly?
about?
Do you feel like we sign off too abruptly, or like you think that's quaint and people like that?
I don't think it's quaint.
Because like we just like there's no like whine. Like I'll see on Twitter people like, how do you end your show? And everyone's like, well, we do this and we do that, and we're just like we're talking, and then like we're like, all right, see you later.
Well, I got to be honest with you. This episode, I didn't feel like I was hitting on all cylinders in this episode.
Yeah,
I almost think this is like a what do you call it, the refractory period from that such a great explosion of the last episode. Did I spell that?
It wasn't just the last episode. I feel like we've had a run of very good episodes.
Yeah, but you saw all the quotes that came in for the last episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, I trust that. I trust the source of all those quotes.
Yeah, if there's any like questioning the quotes, there should be an asterisk with explaining where they came from.
So let's do this before we sign off.
Should we maybe like go slow motion with like some theme music playing us out? Like,
nah, we definitely. Well,
and
we
the
have
credits start rolling?
music that's gonna play us out. We have that organ music.
Yeah.
What, you don't like that organ music?
I'm thinking. Do you think maybe we should like every season maybe change up the music a little?
We could find me some music
so people can. Dude, I just come on the idea guy. You're the guy. You're the guy that has to do all the fucking work.
All right. I mean, it's great to have these ideas.
And then the credits roll. I don't know. So what? All right. What's your idea?
For what?
For saying goodbye.
For saying goodbye? I don't have any like general idea moving forward, but for now, I would just say if you're still listening to the show, go check out libelthebible.com.
Okay, like plug ourselves.
Go hit us up on Twitter. You can just type in search for Libel the Bible.
Because we're in search engines now, man.
Yeah, no, there's no one else named Libel the Bible, so we come up. I think we're at Libel the Bible on Twitter. I think at Libel the Bible.
I posted some stuff on our social media and did not offend anybody. I did not.
So go do that.
I put my toe back in the water.
We don't really ask for like donations or anything, but we do have like a donation button. And there's a lovely lady, her name is Rebecca, that we thanked in a prior episode. She has decided to donate charitably to us. So you could also do that if you would like.
We need new microphones. We need new microphones. Because I can't stay on this mic.
So I don't like ending it like this either. Like where we're begging people for like, we're begging people for shit.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
Oh, you know what?
What?
For everyone out in our audience, if you want to serve humanity, the next time you see a Southerner, just fucking give them a donkey punch right in their dick.
Wait a minute. Is the donkey punch done during anal sex?
No, that's like an angry dragon.
I never heard of an angry dragon.
You don't know what an angry dragon is?
Dude, I don't know where you roam.
All right, an angry dragon is when a chick is blowing you, right?
Uh-huh.
You deep throat her, and then you punch her on the back of the head.
Okay.
And then she'll look like an angry dragon, like she'll have like...
Did you not see Shawshank Redemption?
Nah, I saw
when the guy's like about to put it in his mouth, he's like, "I'm gonna bite your shit off if you do that." But I think a donkey punch has something to do with anal. But call in if you know.
All right, I mean, we can end on
donkey
anal
punches.
Donkey punch. Yeah, that's good.
I don't know if I want to, man.
Peace out, man.
All right, bye.